It began on a night Peace would never forget. A night she wished she could undo. She stood in the middle of the dim hallway of Akanji Girls' Hostel, shivering even though the air was warm. Her heart hammered inside her chest as voices echoed from behind the door of room 208, her room. Laughter, loud music, clinking bottles, and then a scream. Not the playful kind, a sharp, piercing scream. Someone had made a terrible choice, and Peace was the last person anyone expected to be involved in. Not because she talked too much, but because she talked too little. She had that soft beauty that didn't try to call attention to itself, but somehow still caught your eye. Her roommates often teased her. "Fine girl, why you dey hide your face?" She would only smile shyly. Peace came to school to study accounting. She had sworn never to disappoint her mother, never to mix with wrong people, never to taste trouble. Then she met Inobong. Inobong was everything Peace wasn't: bold, fearless, loud, confident. She walked like someone who owned all the street lights on campus. Her beauty was sharp and intimidating, the type that made boys stutter and girls adjust their makeup. She had a circle of friends who followed her around like shadows. Cassie, the girl with sarcastic lips. Tonya, the fashion addict. And Ella, the smooth talker who could convince a fish to buy water. They were the untouchables of the hostel. Girls who always smelt expensive, always dressed well, always laughed like the world was a joke they had already figured out. The first time Inobong spoke to Peace was over a missing bucket. She had found a pink bucket in the bathroom and politely placed it outside. Moments later, Inobong stormed into her room like a hurricane. "Who carried my bucket?" Peace, ever gentle, raised her hand. "Sorry, I thought someone forgot it inside." Inobong studied her for a moment, then her expression softened. You look too innocent for this hostel. Be careful." That was how it started. One bucket, one warning, one unexpected smile. Inobong began greeting her, then sitting near her during hostel meetings, then talking to her like they had known each other for years. Peace liked her confidence. She liked the attention too. It felt good to be noticed by someone everybody respected or feared. One afternoon after lectures, Inobong waved at her. "Peace, baby, come walk with us." Peace hesitated. She had planned to go to the library, but the girls looked so glamorous, so secure, so free. Something inside her, something she didn't recognize, pushed her forward. That day, they took her to a cafe near campus. They bought smoothies worth more than Peace's entire weekly allowance. They laughed loudly, spoke boldly, talked about parties, boys, lecturers, and life in ways that opened Peace's quiet world like a cracked mirror. Cassie leaned toward her with a mischievous smile. "You know you are too fine to be forming church girl. Learn how to enjoy life small." Peace laughed nervously. "I'm not forming anything." "Good," Inobong said. "Stick with us. We'll show you how to survive university." And that was the beginning. Soon, Peace found herself spending more time with them, skipping the library, staying out late, dressing differently, speaking differently. They made her feel seen. They made her feel part of something. But every night when she returned to her room, she heard her mother's voice in her mind. "Peace, remember who you are." She would sit on her bed and stare at her notes, feeling a strange war inside her chest. One part of her loved the new freedom. Another part felt she was slowly slipping away from the girl she used to be. But she kept going, because influence never announces itself. It creeps in quietly. The turning point happened on a Friday night when the girls invited her to a party at Diamond Lounge, a place she had sworn never to step into. Peace initially refused. "Please, I can't. My mommy will kill me." Tonya rolled her eyes. "Your mommy is not here, I beg." Ella added, "Just come. One night won't spoil your life." Inobong leaned close. "Peace, trust me, you are safe with us." Peace swallowed hard, and for the first time in her life, she chose peer pressure over her principles. That night, the night she followed them to Diamond Lounge, was the night that led to the current moment. The scream behind the door, the pounding in her chest, the terrible realization that she was now part of a story she never intended to write. Peace had no idea that the journey she began with one innocent walk would soon take a dark turn. A turn that would cost her more than she ever imagined. The night of the party arrived too quickly. Peace stood in front of the mirror in her hostel room, doubting every life decision that had brought her here. Inobong had lent her a short black dress, beautiful, but nothing Peace would have ever worn on her own. The dress hugged her body too closely, revealing curves she usually hid behind long skirts and oversized tops. Her hands trembled slightly as she applied lip gloss. "This is not me," she whispered to her reflection. But she still didn't remove the dress. At exactly 8:30 p.m., there was a knock. Inobong walked in without waiting for an answer, followed by Cassie, Tonya, and Ella. They were dazzling, hair done, nails perfect, perfume rich enough to intoxicate a room. "Peace, baby," Tonya squealed. "Look at you. You are hot." Peace flushed. "I feel naked." Cassie laughed. "That's how you know it's working." Ella touched Peace's shoulder gently. "Relax. No one is forcing you to do anything. Just enjoy the night." Peace nodded, ignoring the warning rising in her chest like smoke. The night air was alive with music as they approached Diamond Lounge. Cars lined the road, girls dressed in glitter and boys in expensive colognes hovered around. The air smelt of alcohol, perfume, sweat, and excitement. Peace's stomach knotted. At the entrance, a bouncer waved them in the moment he saw Inobong. "Ino baby, long time," he said, smiling. "Leave that thing," Inobong replied, tossing her hair. "Tonight we scatter everywhere." The others laughed. Peace forced a smile, pretending she belonged. Inside, the club was chaos, wrapped in beauty, flashing lights, vibrating floors, people dancing like they had nothing to lose. The speakers blasted music so loud, Peace felt the bass in her bones. "This way," Cassie shouted, pulling her toward the VIP section. Peace's legs felt unsteady. She wasn't sure whether it was fear, guilt, or the overwhelming atmosphere. Maybe all three. A waiter brought drinks, bright colors, icy glasses. Peace froze. She didn't drink. Inobong noticed. "Relax. It's just Chapman with a little extra something to make you loosen up. You'll love it." I'm not used to this." Inobong held her hand. "Peace, listen. You are safe. Nobody will harm you. We are here." The sincerity in her voice disarmed Peace. She took the drink. The first sip burned. The second tasted sweet. By the fourth, her shoulders had relaxed, her cheeks warmed, and the music didn't sound so noisy anymore. The girls cheered. "That's my girl," Ella said, clinking her glass with pieces. Hours passed. Peace didn't know when she started dancing. She moved without thinking, swinging, laughing, letting go. She felt strangely free, like she had been carrying a heavy weight for years, and tonight it finally fell off. But freedom wasn't always real. At 11:34 p.m., Peace tripped while dancing and fell against a boy she didn't know. He caught her, smiling too widely. "You are fine, Sha. What's your name?" Peace stepped back immediately. Something about him made her uncomfortable. Inobong appeared instantly. "She's with us. Carry your wahala comot." The boy scoffed, but walked away. Peace swallowed hard. I think I want to go back." Cassie frowned. "Go back to what? Your boring room?" Ella added, "You haven't even enjoyed the night." But the boy's eyes, Peace couldn't shake the feeling. Inobong sighed. "Come, let us go outside. You need fresh air."
The night breeze cooled Peace's sweaty skin. She inhaled deeply, trying to steady her heartbeat. "You okay?" Inobong asked. Peace nodded, slowing. I don't know if this is for me." Inobong exhaled. "Peace, life is not a straight line. You can't stay sheltered forever." "I'm not trying to be sheltered," Peace whispered. "I just don't want to disappoint my mom." At that moment, Inobong's face softened in a way she had never seen before. "Let me tell you something," she said quietly. "People disappoint their parents every day. Not because they are bad, but because life is unpredictable. You are human. You are allowed to explore." Peace looked down at her hands. "But what if exploring destroys me?" "It won't," Inobong said firmly. "Not with Tough around." It sounded comforting. It sounded believable. It sounded wrong. Before Peace could respond, Cassie and the others ran outside breathless. "Those guys from the party earlier, they are fighting inside." Again, Inobong snapped. "Let's go, before the security locks the gate." The girls hurried toward the road. Peace followed, still dizzy from alcohol and emotions. But just as they reached the junction, Peace noticed her phone screen lighting up inside her tiny purse. "Mama Grace, 7 missed calls. Mama Grace, 3 voice notes." Peace froze. Her heart dropped. Her mother never called late at night unless something was terribly wrong. The world suddenly dimmed again. The carefree feeling gone. The guilt returning stronger than ever. "Peace, let's go," Ella called. But Peace remained rooted to the spot, staring at her trembling phone. Something inside her whispered, "This is the beginning of your fall, if you don't turn back now." But she didn't turn back. She followed them, and the night swallowed her completely.
The sun hung low in the sky as Peace dragged herself back to Akanji girls' hostel. Every step felt heavy, like she was carrying stones instead of books. The assignment scandal had shaken her deeply. She had always been the responsible girl, the one lecturers trusted, the one classmates envied for her discipline. Now, whispers followed her everywhere. "Is that not the girl Inobong's group mentioned? She did party now? I swear she changed too fast." Peace pretended not to hear, but her chest burned. She reached her room and closed the door behind her, sliding down until she sat on the floor. She hugged her knees tightly. Tears threatened, but she forced them back. She couldn't cry. Not here. Not now. She brought out her phone, contemplated calling her mother. But how would she explain? How could she tell Mama Grace that her daughter, the one she bragged about in church, was now the subject of gossip? Her scholarship depended on her grades. Her future depended on her scholarship. And all of it was beginning to slip. Suddenly, the door burst open. Inobong walked in with Cassie and Tonya. They were laughing until they saw Casey's swollen eyes. "See her face," Cassie said, trying to hide a smile. Inobong knelt beside Peace. "Why are you crying?" Peace pushed her hand away. "Why did you lie to that lecturer?" The room fell silent. Inobong blinked. "Lie? Peace, what are you talking about?" "You told him I've been partying instead of reading. Now he thinks I didn't submit my assignment." Cassie scoffed. "We didn't lie. Have you not been following us up and down?" "That's not the point," Peace said, voice trembling. "You made me look irresponsible." Inobong stood up, her expression shifting from concern to irritation. "Peace, stop acting like a child. It's one assignment. You can do makeup work." Peace shook her head. "You don't understand. My scholarship." Cassie interrupted. "Please don't start that scholarship story again." Toya folded her arms. "If your scholarship is shaking that easily, maybe you're not even meant for this course." The words stabbed her like knives. Inobong sighed dramatically. "Look, Peace, you're getting too emotional. If you want to be a friend, develop a thick skin. This is university life." Something in Peace snapped. "I don't think I want to be your friend anymore." The 3 girls exchanged glances.
Cassie smirked. So you're dumping us? Toyin added. After all we did for you? What exactly did you do for me? Peace shot back. You dragged me into things I never wanted. Inobong's eyes darkened. Peace, be careful. Of what? Peace whispered. Inobong stepped closer, her voice dropping into a dangerous calm. You think we are the problem? You think you can leave us and your life will magically fix itself? Peace swallowed hard. She didn't reply. Inobong leaned even closer. Be guided. The world is not as soft as you think it is. With that, she stormed out, the others following behind her. The silence left behind felt suffocating. Things got worse quickly. The next day, Peace noticed students staring at her oddly. Some whispered when she passed. Others looked away, laughing. By afternoon, she finally heard the rumor. Peace slept with someone at the club that night. Peace felt her knees weaken. Not only was it false, it was cruel. She barely even spoke to any boy that night. She confronted Cassie and Tonya in the hostel corridor. Why are you spreading lies about me? Cassie looked amused. Lie? We just said what we heard. You started it, Peace hissed. Toya rolled her eyes. You can't force people to see you as innocent forever. Her vision blurred with anger. Why are you doing this to me? Cassie leaned closer. Because you insulted Inobong, and around here, nobody insults Inobong. Peace stepped back. It was becoming clearer. This wasn't friendship. This was control, power, dominance. And she was done being a puppet. Peace days became unbearable. Lecturers questioned her seriousness. Classmates avoided her. Her roommates became distant, scared of being associated with her. Her grades started slipping. She could barely read. Her mind was constantly spinning. Fear, shame, anger, confusion. At night, she cried silently into her pillow. Her mother kept sending voice notes, encouraging her, praying for her. Yet, Peace couldn't tell her the truth. Every time she tried praying, guilt choked her. Why did I follow them? Why didn't I listen? She didn't realize things were about to get even darker. One evening, she received a text message. Come to Hall 7 by 8 p.m. We need to talk. Inobong. Peace's heart skipped. Part of her wanted to ignore it. Another part wanted closure, needed to end this nightmare. She arrived cautiously. The hallway was dim, the building quiet. Inobong stepped out of the shadows. She looked different, calm, unreadable. Peace, she said softly. I didn't call you here to fight. Peace wrapped her arms around herself. Then why am I here? Inobong sighed. I want to help you. Peace frowned. Help me? By ruining my name? No, Inobong stepped closer. By giving you a choice. Peace hesitated. What choice? Inobong looked directly into her eyes. You can fix everything. Your reputation, your assignment issue, your relationships, if you just come back to us. Peace blinked in disbelief. They'll stop the rumors if I return. Inobong nodded slowly. Yes. Peace's stomach burned with anger and fear. So you are behind the rumors? Inobong didn't deny. She simply said, I protect my circle. If you're in, you're safe. If you're out, you are alone. Peace stepped back. She suddenly understood. This wasn't about friendship. It was about control, power, dominance. And she was done being a puppet. I'm not coming back, she whispered. Inobong's expression hardened. Then prepare yourself. Peace turned and walked away. She didn't look back. But as she left the hallway, her heart raced because she knew the real war had just begun.
Peace barely slept that night. Every creak of the hostel door, every distant whisper felt like danger. Inobong's final words replayed in her mind like a haunting chorus. If you're out, you're alone. And Peace was alone. The next week was the darkest of her university life. Rumors multiplied like wildfire. Someone claimed they saw her sneaking out to meet a lecturer. Another said she was failing all her courses. A third insisted she got drunk and collapsed behind Diamond Lounge. None of it was true. But in university, truth didn't matter. The louder story wins. Peace walked through campus with her head down, avoiding eye contact. Her heart felt heavy. Her spirit cracked. She stopped attending study groups. She ate little. She barely spoke. Darkness tried to swallow her whole. But sometimes, just when the world closes in, help appears from a place you least expect. One Thursday morning, Peace sat alone under a mango tree behind the library, trying to force herself to read. Her eyes kept blurring, her mind drifting. "Excuse me," a calm voice said. Peace looked up. A girl she recognized from her department stood there, slim, quiet, always reading. Her name was Sarah. "You're Peace, right?" Peace nodded weakly. Sarah sat beside her without asking. "I've been watching what's happening." Shame burned in Peace's chest. She lowered her gaze. "Please, I don't want any trouble." Sarah shook her head. "I'm not here for trouble. I just want to tell you something important." Peace looked at her cautiously. "You're not who those girls say you are," Sarah said softly. "I've seen the way you come early for classes, the way you sit in front during lectures, the way you answer questions with confidence. Those things don't belong to the kind of girl they are describing." Peace blinked rapidly, fighting tears. Sarah continued, "And I also know Inobong and her group. They've done this before, to another girl in year 2. They destroy people when you leave their circle." Peace clenched her fist. It wasn't just her. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't imagining it. "Why are you helping me?" Peace whispered. Sarah smiled gently. "Because everyone deserves at least one person who sees the truth." For the first time in weeks, Peace felt something warm in her chest. Hope. Sarah stood. "Come to study group today. You are not alone, Peace. Not anymore." Peace nodded slowly. This was what real friendship felt like. With Sarah's help, Peace returned to the study group. At first, people were tense and quiet around her, but Sarah stood by her like a shield. Gradually, others realized Peace wasn't the monster the rumors painted. She focused on her books again. She asked questions. She attended classes early. She ignored the whispers. Her lecturers noticed the change. One afternoon, Mr. Adebayon, the accounting lecturer, called her after class. "Peace," he said, adjusting his glasses. "Your test score was the highest in this room. If you keep this up, I will personally assist you in recovering from the assignment issue." Peace bowed her head, tears stinging her eyes. "Thank you, sir." He nodded. "Don't let anyone derail your purpose." Peace walked out of that classroom lighter than she had felt in months. She was rising again. But Peace knew she couldn't fully heal while the rumors still lived. She needed to end this. And fate gave her the chance sooner than she expected. It happened at the departmental seminar. The hall was filled with students. Lecturers sat at the front. Inobong and her clique sat in the middle, whispering and laughing as always. When the seminar ended, the HOD asked for student volunteers to give a short talk on academic discipline. Before Peace knew it, her hand went up. The hall gasped, including Peace herself. She walked to the front, legs trembling, palms sweaty. But when she faced the crowd, strength washed over her. "My name is Peace Ekong, and I want to talk about choices," she began, voice clear. The hall went silent. "When I came into this university, I had dreams. I wanted to make my mother proud. But I followed people who didn't represent the kind of future I wanted." Students shifted uncomfortably. Inobong stiffened. "I made bad choices and I paid for them. I lost my reputation, my focus, even my peace." But I realized something important. Your life only goes where your company takes you. Some nodded. Others stared shocked. Peace continued. I was called names. Lies were spread about me. But instead of fighting, I decided to grow, to rise again, to choose better. Her eyes met Inobong's in victory. And today, she concluded, voice strong, I stand here to remind someone, bad friends don't ruin you overnight. They ruin you one compromise at a time. Choose your people wisely. They can either destroy your destiny or protect it. Thunderous applause filled the hall. Inobong's face burned with humiliation. She stormed out. Peace didn't smile. She didn't boast. She simply breathed deeply, freely. For the first time in a long time, she felt whole. After the seminar, 3 lecturers commended Peace's courage. Students approached her apologizing for believing lies. Some even asked her to mentor them. Sarah hugged her tightly. You did it. Peace smiled with tears in her eyes. No, we did it. She knew the journey wasn't over, but she had crossed the darkest valley. She had learned a painful but powerful truth. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to walk into your future. Peace walked out of the hall into the warm evening sunlight. A new chapter of her life had begun, not shaped by bad company, but strengthened by survival, defined by growth, and rooted in purpose. Peace had risen, and she would never fall the same way again.